Okay, for the practice, if you were brave enough to try, even though I really haven't gone over that many examples, some of you were probably brave enough to try this. If you weren't, or if you got the wrong answer, don't feel bad because, like I said, I didn't really go over too many, I didn't model too many of these for you. So if you're brand new to this, you need to see if you modeled before you're going to, really feel confident. Okay, so if we're going to look at number one, first you have to ask yourself, are there any grouping symbols? Well, I haven't really talked about the grouping symbols, so conveniently there's none there. There's no parentheses or anything like that. And there's also no exponents because we're not going to deal with exponents in this lesson. Mainly what we've got here is we've got some dividing, some multiplying, and some adding. So if we think about what do we do first, the division and the multiply have to come before the adding. And we always do when we've got inverse operations from left to right. So we've got a division here first. So we have to do the 10 divided by 2 first, which is 5. Then we have to do the multiply. And I'm kind of just drawing some boxes to help you see. 5 times 10 is 50. The only thing we haven't taken care of now is the adding. I'm going to bring that adding symbol right down. And my final answer then would be 50 plus 5, which is 55. If you got that one right, stand up and do a jig. I mean it. Do a jig. I'll sing for you if you don't. I'm telling you, you don't want that to happen. All right, number 2. We've also got some multiply, divide, add, and subtract. We can't do any subtracting or adding until we take care of all of our multiply and divide. Again, going from left to right, we have to take care of the 6 divided by 2 first. 6 divided by 2 is 3. I'm going to bring down that times 3. And a lot of students don't like to rewrite everything, but to be completely honest, it's really easy to make a mistake if you don't write each step as you go. It's really easy to accidentally put in a 6 here with your 3. It just makes things a lot easier the more you write down. So if I look at 23 minus 4 plus 3 times 3, I still can't deal with the subtraction or addition. I have to take care of this multiply. 3 times 3 becomes 9. And then I can bring down the plus 4 minus 23. Now I've got adding and subtracting that are on the same level, but I have to go from left to right, like reading a sentence. We start, at least in America, we start over here, read left to right. So 23 minus 4 is 19. So that becomes 19 plus 9. I know 9 plus 9 is 18, or I could think of 19 plus 10. 19 plus 10 is 29, and 9 is 1 less than 10. So my final answer would have to be 28. All right. Now we're going to talk about the grouping symbols. On your notes are set up a little bit differently than mine. I hope you have enough room to write down all of the steps. So let's go ahead and try. The parentheses are the easy ones. We've seen those a lot. But if we already have parentheses in a problem and we need to group something else, we go to the next level of parenthesis, and that's called the bracket. If we have parentheses and brackets and we need to group something else, we go to the next level, which is called a brace. You don't really probably necessarily need to know what these are called. You just need to know that they're grouping symbols and that you have to do them before you do the normal order of operation. The last grouping symbol is a fraction bar, and the reason it's a grouping symbol is because it groups the numerator and denominator. It separates the problem into two groups, the numerator and denominator. Okay, so let's go ahead and simplify an example with parentheses. This one also has an exponent. Just to illustrate, I chose a very simple exponent. I have to ask myself, are there any parentheses? Well, there certainly are. There's a parenthesis right here. Now, once I'm inside that set of parentheses, I have to go through the order all over again. Are there any grouping symbols inside this parenthesis set? No. Are there any exponents? Yes, there are. So I have to take care of those exponents first. 3 to the second power is not 6. It's 3 times 3. It's 9. So this is going to become 9 minus 7. And I'm going to rewrite everything, bring stuff down that has not been computed yet. Now I'm not done with the parentheses, so I still need to take care of that. 9 minus 7 is 2, so I'm going to rewrite that. 10 divided by 2 plus 5. 9 minus 7 is 2. I'm going to leave my parenthesis here. And this, you'll notice on your notes, there's a little asterisk, and it says, oh, you can't hardly see it, a number next to a grouping symbol means multiply. So the reason I have that note is because we've got a number next to a parenthesis here. This means multiply. All right, multiply here. So we've got some division, we've got an adding symbol, and we've got multiply. Now, fortunately for us, we've got a multiply, divide, level, inverse operation on the left-hand side of this expression, so we have to do that first. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Then we can do the multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. So we've taken care of this. We've taken care of this, but we've not taken care of that plus, so the plus has to come down, and the final answer then would be 15 for that expression. Okay, I'll get the note going here. A number next to a variable means multiply. So you'll notice we have 2x here, and the directions say evaluate when x equals 2. So if we were to plug that in, 12 minus 10 divided by, we've got a bracket here, 2, x is 2, I'm going to write it just like that for now, plus 3 squared minus 8, parenthesis, bracket. Now, when we substitute the 2 in, remember, it means multiply. So if you write it just like I did here, and the reason I wrote it like that is because I see a lot of students who are new to algebra do this. They're doing this, and then they get confused. They say, oh, well, that's 22. And it's not. Because this variable was next to this number, we have to multiply. So you can either put this 2 in parentheses, or you can make yourself a little dot for multiply. Dot also means multiply. Whichever will help you remember that that's not 22. Next, we have to continue with our grouping. We still have, we've got a parenthesis here. Now in this case, I'm going to just simplify this parenthesis group because we did it on the last slide too. 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 8 is going to give us 1. So this is going to simplify, this whole thing is going to simplify to 1. And bracket, I took care of all of this, bring down the plus, 2 times 2, front bracket, divide, 10 minus 12. And when I'm bringing things down, I go in reverse. I don't know why. You don't have to do it that way. I'm backwards a lot of times. For me, it helps me keep it in order. We got rid of the parentheses. However, we still now have these brackets. These are still a grouping symbol that have to be taken care of before we can continue with our normal order. So remember, this is not 22. This is 2 times 2, which is going to be 4. 4 plus 1 is going to come from my bracket. Bring down everything else. Now I can simplify the bracket entirely. 4 plus 1 is 5. So I get 12 minus 10 divided by 5. Students might be tempted to do the subtraction first, but remember, we have to do our dividing before we do our subtracting. So this is going to become 2, and we're going to have our final step here is 12. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So 12 minus 2 equals 10. All right, we are rocking and rolling. If you ever have braces in one of your problems, I'm sorry. They're long, icky, yucky problems, but you might see one like this, so I wanted to go over it with you. I also wanted you to take note of this xy expression. So evaluate the expression when x equals 4 and y equals 1. If I were to do that, 2 plus brace 12 minus 10 divided by bracket 4, 1. Again, it also means multiply. So go ahead and put a dot in there so that you don't think it's 41. Plus, and then I'm going to go ahead and simplify this right now. 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 8 is 1. So now I have the end bracket. I took care of the parentheses, but I still have the bracket and the brace. From there, I need to take care of the bracket. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So this all becomes 5. This is also a lot like our last problem. I did that on purpose. 12 minus 10 divided by, this whole thing became 5. We're done with the brackets, but we still have that end brace. And my braces are hideous. They look like a guy with a fat chin. I'm sorry. You know, maybe he's got like, you know, a little face here and some stubble. Yeah, sorry. Anyhow, now we need to, this is just like our last problem before. 10 divided by 5 is going to get me 2. 12 minus 2 is going to get me 10. So this is 2 plus brace, brace, 2 plus 10. Once you have only one number inside the braces, you don't really need them anymore. This becomes 2 plus 10, which is 12. And I believe, oh, nope, we've got one more, don't we? The fraction bar. The fraction bar is not too difficult. Remember, it groups it into a numerator and denominator, so it doesn't really matter if you do the numerator or denominator first, or if you do them at the same time, as long as you keep them separated. I'm just going to do the numerator first. Using please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, I see I have a multiply, which has to come before the adding. So my numerator is going to simplify to 4 plus 6, and we already talked about the dot, even though I have a note on your paper. Dot means multiply. 4 plus 6 is just going to simplify to 10. So my numerator simplifies to 10. In the denominator, 23 divided by 3, that's going to give me 7. 7 minus 2 is going to get me 5. So now I'm left with this fraction 10/5. You can think of 10/5 as an improper fraction, or you can think of the fraction bar as meaning division. 10 divided by 5. Or 10 divided by 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So your final answer for that one is 2. And we are finished. Go ahead and do the practice on the remaining pages of your notes. And good luck and have fun.